Coming alive. Heated and night. Now is the time. Coming alive. Heated and night. Now is the time.
4 quarters of Notre Dame football.
He's met by Alohi Gilman with a nasty hit. Chase Claypool reaches across the goal line. Touchdown Irish. Still moving. Chris Fink inside the 20-yard line. Down he goes.
No matter what happens, we stay together.
And intercepted by Jalen Elliott.
Look, a great fake. Touchdown, Notre Dame.
Behind a 31-point second quarter, the University of Notre Dame rolled to a 66-14 over New Mexico in their home opener. We welcome you to Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by Tyrek.com. Along with former Irish linebacker Corey Mays, I'm Darren Pritchett. Corey, a very convincing victory for Notre Dame today. What was your big takeaway?
My biggest takeaway today were takeaways. The defense was all over the place, getting that ball out of the air and providing momentum to the offense.
You look at the offense, explosive plays. What are the big storylines?
The explosive plays, a lot of them came after the turnovers, and I think that really ignited an Irish offense that was kind of sleeping to begin the game.
But boy, then they got going. A lot of big chunk plays in the contest. Let's take a look at the highlights. Notre Dame and New Mexico meeting for the first time on the gridiron. The Irish, 11 consecutive home victories. They went 6-0 at Notre Dame Stadium last year, and they opened this year against the New Mexico Lobos. The Lobos kicked off the football to Notre Dame to start the contest, and sophomore Lawrence Keys took the football and a big play right off the bat as Keys goes 45 yards to the New Mexico 49-yard line. On a 4th and short, the Irish were able to pick up the first down with Tony Jones Jr. Unfortunately, the drive stalled, and freshman Jay Bramblett, known for his hang time on his punts, boots it inside the 10-yard line, and Notre Dame downed the football at the New Mexico 2. Then one of the first big plays of the ball game, New Mexico's Sharon Jones threw the pass into the flat, deflected by Dalen Hayes, and intercepted by Kyle Hamilton, and the dynamic sophomore took it to the house for 32 yards.
This is an amazing play here. We always practice this. This is the tip drill, and now you got to score. Get it and score.
And the Irish got on the board with that touchdown by the freshman, 7-0 Notre Dame, 10:09 to go in the first quarter. To the second quarter, Book found his favorite target, Chase Claypool, 20 yards for an Irish first down. Claypool has been a huge target for Book, with Miles Boykin leaving to the National Football League, so a lot on the shoulders for Claypool.
You love to see Claypool step up and be physical and be a leader on this offense today when they really needed the physical play.
Ian Book got a little push from behind by Brock Wright. He scores a 1-yard touchdown, and the Irish led 14-0.
It definitely reminds me of the Bush push in 2005, but I'm certainly happy to see this push today as the Irish score.
11:47 to go, second quarter. Notre Dame 14 and New Mexico nothing. Sharon Jones under pressure and thrown down by Dalen Hayes. That was a loss of 3 yards. Then another interception for the Notre Dame defense. This time it's safety Jalen Elliott.
Love to see this. You love to see guys flying around and getting that ball out of the air.
So with the Irish up 14-0, they get the football. And it's going to be Book flipping the ball to Avery Davis. He was just converted back to running back, his first touch. He takes it the distance, 59 yards for a touchdown.
I love to see it. Look at the explosion. He's out of there. This is a track meet. You got to have guys that are hungry like this. With an offense that's sputtering, these quick plays are what you need.
So the Irish built their lead to 21-0. Ian Book now back to throw a more traditional touchdown pass. This time he goes to Javon McKinley, the stiff arm. He breaks 4 other tackles on his way to the end zone, 65 yards for his first touchdown at the University of Notre Dame.
I don't know what McKinley had for his pregame meal, but I want him to have it every single game. This guy is hungry. Give him the ball. This is another inspiring play to wake up a sleeping early Irish offense.
Notre Dame led 28-0 over New Mexico. Here's Jones once again firing down the middle, and what a story. Sean Crawford with the interception, 2 ACLs and Achilles, and he's still going strong.
This is about resiliency. I was down on the field, and he turned his head at the last second to grab that ball.
Ian Book going deep, and he finds his guy, Claypool, 37 yards for the Fighting Irish touchdown.
Another big play. Big plays have just been something big for the Irish today.
Second touchdown pass of the day for Book, his third of the season. It was 35-0 Notre Dame. New Mexico got on the board, 47-yard touchdown run by Bryson Carroll. Jonathan Dorr kicked a 36-yard field goal before halftime to close out the scoring in the first half. And at halftime, it was Notre Dame 38 and New Mexico 7. Good to see the Irish passing game get rolling, 251 yards in the first half.
Yes, absolutely. I think it was something great, too, is the Irish offense, after the score, they went down the field and scored before halftime, giving themselves some momentum.
Ian Book on his way to a huge day. He would throw 5 touchdowns against New Mexico, and we'll take a look at some of his other touchdown passes during our second half highlight package. Notre Dame wins today over New Mexico, 66-14, and more Inside Notre Dame football is coming up next.
On this campus, in that stadium, doesn't happen anywhere else but here at Notre Dame. This tradition, this history is about great teams.
A great field, great atmosphere. This is why you play at Notre Dame.
Here come the Irish. Jalen Elliott intercepted. Book. End zone touchdown. Chase Claypool hit by Kareem. Julian O'Quark. Gilman's got it again. Jafar Armstrong.
An education teaches us who we are in the world. It teaches us what we can do and what we hope to become. But most importantly, it teaches us where we belong.
And we welcome you back to Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com, along with former Irish linebacker Corey Mays. I'm Darren Pritchett. The Irish had a big second quarter. Could they carry the momentum into the second half? Let's find out as we take a look at the third quarter highlights from Notre Dame Stadium. The Irish entered the third quarter leading 38-7. And right off the bat, it didn't take long for the offense to get rolling. Another little touch pass as Ian Book finds Chris Fink and the graduate student off to the races, 54 yards for the touchdown, the 5th touchdown of at least 30 yards today for Notre Dame. Fink only had 1 catch against Louisville, makes the big play against New Mexico at Notre Dame Stadium. The Irish lead was 45-7. How about the Irish defense? Alohi Gilman breaks free, and he picks up a quarterback hurry on the New Mexico quarterback. That was on 4th down and 5. Ian Book back to work on offense. Play action, and how about the defender in his face? He lobs it to the freshman Tommy Tremble, 29 yards for a Notre Dame first down, and then they cap the drive. Book to McKinley, his 2nd touchdown catch of the day from 20 yards out.
I think what fans have to be excited about is the Irish offense came out second half and didn't miss a beat. They were moving around and they were scoring, and I think that was just the mentality of the day.
And they kept attacking, and the lead was 52-7 with 7:19 to go in the third quarter, and then a miscue by the New Mexico special teams unit. Tariq Gracie picks up that bad snap for the Fighting Irish. A chance to look at Phil Jerkovic, the backup quarterback. He launches one down the middle of the field, and Braden Lindsey hauls it in, a 52-yard reception by the sophomore. We move to the fourth quarter, and Jerkovic can not only throw the football, he shows his athleticism, and he picks up 23 yards and comes up just short of the goal line. He gets down to the Lobo 1. That sets up Sibo Flemister, a 1-yard touchdown run, and the Irish up 59-7. Good power football by the Irish.
I definitely want to see Sebo get Semo touches.
The Irish in full control in the fourth quarter. Here's a look at a guy that could play a role in the matchup against Georgia. It is freshman running back Kyron Williams. He picks up 14 yards to the New Mexico 45. And a look at Brendan Clark, the third-string quarterback. The freshman picks up 14 yards to the New Mexico 22. And how about a touchdown pass to Braden Lindsey? He breaks free, he weaves through traffic and gets to the end zone, a 22-yard touchdown, and that would close out the scoring as Notre Dame would pick up a convincing victory over New Mexico, 66-14. A look at the final stats, 591 yards of total offense for the University of Notre Dame, 363 for New Mexico, and the Irish did a pretty good job as the game went on, stopping the run.
Yeah.
As we take a look at some of the other stats from this ball game, the Irish put up 434 yards of total offense. There was a lot of conversation about Book being antsy in the pocket against Louisville. He seemed a lot more calm and seeing things a whole lot better in this matchup.
I think he saw things a lot more better this week. I think, second game around, you settle in a little bit more. But I would like to see more out of that offensive line pushing that ball forward and then giving him some more space to work with.
The Irish, a convincing victory over New Mexico, 66-14. More Inside Notre Dame football, presented by TireRack.com, is coming up next. All right. That's okay.
An education teaches us who we are in the world. It teaches us what we can do and what we hope to become. But most importantly, it teaches us where we belong.
Along with Corey Mays, I'm Darren Pritchett. Welcome back to Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com. Javon McKinley entered today's game without a touchdown reception at Notre Dame. He took care of that today. 2 receptions, 85 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And right now, David Korzanowski is standing by with McKinley.
Thanks, Darren. I'm on the field joined by Javon McKinley. Javon, 2 touchdowns today, the first 2 of your career. First one, you broke about 5 tackles. What happened on that play?
I didn't think the play was actually going to work. There was about 3 linebackers set at depth where I was supposed to be, and then they shifted, and the linebackers came down and said, okay, I might get open. And then I thought, okay, get the first down, and then after I just saw some holes, just kind of ran around some blocks. Next thing I knew, I was at the end zone. It was just a real moment.
That was his first career touchdown, and then you added a second later on in the game. 66 points from the offense. What did you see from the unit tonight?
Just efficiency, grit, toughness, and playmaking all around by everyone on the offense. I think there's 4 guys with their first touchdown today, including myself. That's just an amazing feat that we have here today as a season opener for Notre Dame, and I'm really happy.
And looking forward to next week, a big road trip in Athens. How do you build some momentum going down into a hostile environment?
Just keep it rolling, exactly what we did today, domination, playmaking, and then going down to Athens, team we played 2 years ago, I think we lost them by 1 point, close game, but I think this year we definitely can take them.
All right, thanks a lot, Javon, and congratulations.
Thank you, go Irish.
Well, Corey, Javon McKinley's a guy that didn't get to play right away. He is stuck with it, and now a big opportunity this year with the Fighting Irish, and that's very important at the collegiate level. Things don't happen right away for a lot of guys.
They don't happen all the time. I mean, you have talent, you have a lot of things that go on, but what you can do is you come every day to work and you make sure that you're there when your number is called.
Another guy who had a really good day today, one of the reasons why McKinley had big numbers, was Ian Book, the Irish quarterback, 360 passing yards and 5 touchdowns. Let's hear from the Irish quarterback. He's now coming to the podium at Notre Dame Stadium.
Ian, whoa, that was loud. Just kind of assess kind of your overall performance today. Obviously, 5 touchdowns, a couple of those coming off quick little shovel passes and things like that. So,
yeah, it felt good. I thought the coaches did a really good job of, having us a great game plan that was able to, put us in the right spots. And then, I was really happy with being able to make the big play when we needed it. Thought we might have started a little slow in the beginning, but I think you saw that we were able to pick it up as the game went on, and that's huge. We need that in offense, and really happy for the offense. And big shout out to the O-line. Thought they did a great job tonight protecting me, so it was great.
Yeah, and last week it seemed like a lot of the times you were trying to run the ball a lot first. Do you feel like you thought to pass first more today than you did last week?
Yeah, I felt good. I felt comfortable. Like I said, the O-line did a great job. We had a great week of preparation, so I felt comfortable in the pocket. And all those guys up front have played for a long time. They know what's going on. I trust all of them to, do their assignments. And I felt comfortable in the pocket today, and that's huge for our offense. And it's my job to stay in there and get the ball to all of our playmakers.
I don't know if you've been able to look at any Georgia tape yet, but I mean, what do you think, knowing what you know about them, what's going to be the key to being productive offensively against them?
Yeah, I think we just got to go into, it's going to be a hostile environment. We got to go in there and just play our game and focus on us and focus on the small details. That's what it takes to win on the road. We talk about having a road warrior mindset, and that's what it's going to take for us. And this week we don't have to do anything different. We got to keep doing what we're doing, keep trusting the coaches, follow our plan, and we've been talking about this game for a while, and it feels good to win this one, and we're gonna feel good. And then once tomorrow comes, it's Georgia week, and we've been looking forward to it. It's time to take advantage of it.
Ian, down on your right, a couple of guys today, Avery and Javon specifically, had their first breakthroughs, first touchdowns. Earlier in the year, Brian Kelly said these new guys that are stepping in, you worked with them plenty back last summer, last September. Does that help you? Can you still feel some of that chemistry when these guys are stepping in on a moment's notice?
Yeah, no doubt. Coach Kelly talks about next man in mentality. Yeah, that's something I clearly remember him saying since I was a freshman. So to see Javon just be ready when his shot, ready when his name was called, and same with Avery, going from offense to defense, back to offense, and winning the game ball tonight. There's nothing better than that. So super happy for those guys. I feel like the chemistry with all those guys, we've been working since January. It's there, and happy to have all of them on the offensive side, and I know it's just going to get better from here.
When Avery flipped back to offense last week, how much of a moment did it take for him to get back up to speed there? It couldn't have been instantaneous.
He's got to learn some of the plays and that, but he's really athletic, and you saw that tonight. So when you put someone, you switch their position, you might think it might be a bigger issue than it was with him. That shows the type of player he is, shows where he's at mentally. He's ready to go, and nothing better to see him get that run tonight. I was really excited for him. I know he was too, and I like to say he belongs on offense. So that's what we like, and we'll keep him there.
Ian, you talked about how the Georgia game is something you've been talking about for a while. You had a team coming in today that it's a small major team. Obviously, you could have overlooked this team. You could have let them hang around. In that second quarter, you put up 31 points and kind of ran away with it. How nice was that to be able to put this game away early and not really let them in the game?
Yeah, it felt good. I think it was good as an offense, just kind of getting the confidence up for everybody, being able to go out there and execute. But it wasn't a game that we were going to look over. I thought the coaches did a great job of not focusing on, not the game in front of them. So being able to, come here and get the win like we wanted, and then, we'll enjoy it tonight. And once tomorrow hits, though, it's Georgia week, and everyone knows that. But I thought it felt really good to be able to put it away. And like I said, it's just Georgia week, and we've been talking about that since the year began. So we need to be road warriors, and this will be our second test.
Ian, why do you think those shovel passes worked so well, and are you pretty happy as a quarterback to get those on your stats?
Yeah, obviously, I guess it feels good because it's considered a pass, but either way, if it was a run, I would be just as excited. I would have ran down there and celebrated in the end zone regardless. It feels good either way. But when you have guys like that with speed who can really get around on the edge, it's a great design play, and being able to do that twice and get some big chunk plays was awesome.
You made that nice throw to Tremble when you were getting kind of blown up there. Remember that play and the touch you needed to get that one done?
What about it? What about it?
Describe that.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I'm like, I remember it, no doubt. Yeah, it was good. That's something I wanted to focus on, just being able to stay in there, take it in the chin if you have to, and get the ball to our playmakers. I talk about that every time. And it was a good job by Tremble being able to stay on his route, even when some guys put hands on him early, and just keep running. And I trust him to make the plays. His confidence is out the roof right now, and it should be. He's a great player. So being able to stay down, being on the ground and you hear the crowd roar, there's nothing better than that. It went well. So it was good.
I guess when you're sort of going through these last couple of weeks from Louisville, how much of it is put in the context of Georgia, where like something may work against Louisville or New Mexico, but you're like, okay, this actually needs to be sharper before we go to Athens?
I wouldn't say we compare it to Georgia, but it's more like every play can be tuned up and fixed, and we know that. But I thought we did a really good job for Louisville and for New Mexico, just focusing on the game that's in front of us and coming out 1-0 every week. That's what it's about, coming out 1-0. So that's what I thought we did.
And how much in sort of that vein, like, did you need the second and third quarter to go the way that they went, where you're like, okay, we got this. This is sort of more of the offense that you would have expected?
Yeah. It felt good to kind of get in the rhythms what you're talking about. So in the second and third quarter, both in Louisville and for this game, to be able to keep rolling, keep scoring touchdowns, keep putting points on the board, like I said earlier, big confidence booster for all of us. And I think it was really good, especially for like the younger guys to be in there and get some touchdowns was awesome. So it was good for everyone.
Ian, with winning by 52 points, are you the type that kind of goes back over and looks for the imperfections in a game like this?
Oh, no doubt. We're going to watch it tomorrow. All of us quarterbacks will get in there, and I can already name a bunch of mistakes that I had. So we're going to go in there and like every week, there's no perfect game. So you got to go in there and find the mistakes, get better for it. It's going to be huge this week for us.
You've had a game in 3 quarters with no Jafar Armstrong. How do you feel like the running game measured up today?
I've been saying this for a while, ever since spring ball started. I think we have a great group of running backs. When you have 4 or 5 guys that can really run the ball and all have different aspects of their game, it's huge and it helps our offense. So it's great to be able to see all those guys get in there and play, and that running back group just helps our offense be able to be the running back or the offensive identity that we want to have. They really help out for that.
Ian, to your right, could you describe what McKinley's assets are?
Yeah. He's really athletic and super strong. So when you see him run, you saw 4 or 5 guys bounce off of him. And I was super happy for him when he can, and he's faster than people think. So when you get him the ball on a drag like that and he can go all the way down the field and make 4 or 5 people miss, that's huge. And then, again, he has another touchdown on a back shoulder fade. He's able to go up there, be strong with his hands, and, bring down a fade ball. So he's someone you want on the perimeter, and he's someone that we're going to need this year, and he's doing great.
I don't know how well you know him, but obviously he went through some difficulties off the field. Do you know what he went through? Did you relate to him during that time?
Yeah, he's in my class, and I was there by his side through all this, and I think he's really level-headed. So he's able to put things behind him and move on, and he's a great kid. And you might not be able to, you might not know he's such a great kid on the field. He is. He works hard every day, and that's why it's so rewarding for me to be able to see him, make plays like he is tonight.
It sounded like you had a couple situations in the Louisville game where you could have or should have made checks and didn't. Mm-hmm. What did you do to brush up on that, and how well did you do that today?
Just through the preparation, focusing on the smaller details and not playing outside of the system. Like I said, the coaches had a great game plan for us. I just got to follow that. It's my job to follow that, trust my eyes, trust what I'm seeing, and just get the ball to those guys. So something I worked on this whole entire week.
Awesome, thank you.
Awesome, thanks.
We'll be in here in a second.
So a 5-touchdown performance by Ian Book. Corey, as you watch Book play the quarterback position, what impresses you?
I think the leadership and also being calm, cool, and collective when he's out there. When things start slow and, there's a few missed passes and, they're getting stopped on the run, him continuing to stay at the same pace and the level that he needs to be.
What do you think of the wide receiving core he's working with?
Well, I'm looking forward to, we shouldn't talk about next week, but I'm looking forward to the track meet between the hedges next week between Notre Dame and Georgia.
Chase Claypool, You got Chris Fink. Eventually, Michael Young will come back from injury, so a very intriguing group for Ian Book to work with. Well, he had a couple of those touch passes today. One of those went to Avery Davis, 59 yards for a touchdown. Davis came to South Bend as a quarterback, moved to running back, then defensive back, and then this week moved back to running back. One play and a touchdown, and he is standing by with David Korzanowski.
Thanks, Darren. I am joined on the field by Avery Davis. Avery, we know you've moved around positions quite a bit in practice. You got the news earlier this week that you're moving to running back. What has that been like for you personally?
It was a little bit awkward at first coming back. Took me a little while to get into back in the groove of things, but I was really humbled and I was grateful for the opportunity, and I just wanted to take advantage of it.
So you line up outside and score a touchdown on a little trick play. What was that setup like, and what was the emotion when you crossed the goal line?
Just a humble worker, humble accomplishment. That's how I felt. Like, I was proud of myself, proud of my teammates, and I know how much work we put into it. And I just thank God, because with the first play I got the ball and scored. So just a wonderful opportunity.
66 points from the offense. How do you think that they're performing right now going into next week?
Really good. We need that. I think it built a lot of confidence in a lot of different areas. A lot of young guys stepped up and did really well today. Javon McKinley, he hasn't got as much playing time as he wanted to, but he got in today and contributed very well and showed the coaches what he could do, showed the fans what he could do, and a lot of young guys did. And I'm just proud of our guys, and we worked for it, so I'm not surprised by it at all.
Thanks for the time, Avery, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay, David, Avery, thank you very much. Appreciate the interview. So, Corey, you played the linebacker position at the collegiate level at Notre Dame and in the National Football League. So I'm going to test you a little bit. How many guys that you played with at the safety position stood 6'4"? I bring this up because Notre Dame freshman Kyle Hamilton is 6'4", playing the safety position. Great instincts, and had the interception for a touchdown today. So as you think back, how many 6'4" safeties did you play with?
Man, it's hard to think about it, but I think Notre Dame has really scored big with this true freshman. He is a superstar in the making, athletic, and it has a football IQ. When you put those two things together, you make something really special.
When you think back to coming to Notre Dame from high school, how difficult was it to make that transition to the collegiate game?
It is crazy. You think everyone's an All-American in high school, but when you get here, you really see there's a separation in talent. So you really can see the maturity of him physically and mentally, and that's a beautiful thing, and that's something that Irish fans have to be excited about.
The offensive side of the football, when you think about guys coming into a program, normally the quarterback position is one of the toughest transitions. On the defensive side of the football, what do you believe are the toughest positions to make that move from high school to college?
I will say corner, anything with DBs and linebackers, because of just the sheer speed of the game, and also being able to pick up things, pick up the routes, pick up formations, and being able to make checks. So it's always fast and it's moving constantly.
What helped you get ready to get on the field so quickly at Notre Dame?
Really, just having your teammates around you that will help you, that guys that aren't afraid of losing their position. Yeah. They realize this is a team atmosphere, and what you want to do is develop people behind you. Because once you leave, you still want to be proud of that ND logo.
Well, let's hear from an Irish defensive player. Myron Owusu-Koramoah is standing by with David Korzanowski.
Thanks, Darren. I am joined on the field by Myron Tagovailoa-Amosa. Myron, first of all, congratulations on the win. And what did you see from the defensive front tonight?
Just a lot of execution. Everybody just going out there doing their job. So that's pretty much what it was.
And last year you suffered an injury in the opener against Michigan. Can you talk about the road back and what these first couple games have been like for you?
It's definitely just been a blessing just to be back out here, especially my first home game back. The last time I was in here, I broke my foot, but everything's going well. The preparation that I put into this, it's all paying off. So.
And some of the younger guys on that defensive unit getting some time tonight in the third and fourth quarters. Was there any message to them before they went in?
Just do their job. You know, everybody's prepared. You know, this whole summer we've been working out, working our butts off just to, you know, for the moments like this. And so it was exciting to get them in there. And so it's just a blessing to see them all play.
Congratulations on the win and best of luck going forward.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Sorry, Myron, I got the wrong guy right there, but the defensive line had a good performance today. No sacks for the Fighting Irish. They had the hurries. They also had the 3 interceptions in the football game. And the Irish made a little history today. They put up 66 points on New Mexico. It's the most points the Irish have scored in a game. You have to go all the way back to November 5th, 1977, when the Irish beat Georgia Tech 69-14. So an explosive day for the Irish against New Mexico. So when you play Louisville in your first game, then you have some time off, an early bye. Is that an awkward time for a bye?
I think it is. You know what? You're starting the season, you're coming out of training camp, you're excited to hit somebody else that doesn't have your same jersey on. So, you know, to have that kind of early bye week is a little off because you're not able to continue your momentum from the first game. But they got a little rest, and maybe we can chalk some of that up to that rest in between for them, the Irish offense getting started. But I think they're going to be rolling now.
And Corey, you always think about this New Mexico game before you play Georgia as a trap game. That's a word that's always used in the media. Do you think the fact that the Irish weren't satisfied with their victory against Louisville helped focus them for this New Mexico game so they did not necessarily overlook it?
It absolutely did. I think once they really got rolling, you could see that, you know, there was no let up. They were trying to score every single time from now on. So I think that mentality rolling into the rest of the season, and I think that mentality from the coaches as well, even though it was a lopsided win, that they still weren't stopping the kids from thinking about winning and their mentality of get in the end zone.
All right, big performance by the Irish today. Let's hear from their head coach, Brian Kelly.
Well, pleased with the victory, certainly at home. You know, I thought that our team kind of found themselves a little bit today. We have been looking to go into a second week here and put the pieces together. And I think, by and large, they started to fall together for us today. You know, you saw a number of different players on the offensive side of the ball have significant roles in what we did offensively, and that was kind of, you know, what we were expecting to kind of happen today, and it came to fruition. You know, I think the defense kind of set it up for us. You know, the big interception by that kid 14, who is he's around the ball. I mean, he just has a great nose for the football, and the interception for a touchdown, you know, got us some great momentum, and then we were able to feed off that. I thought Avery Davis's electric run, who we incidentally gave the game ball to, for him being so humble as a player and unselfish to flip from quarterback to running back to defense and back to the offensive side of the ball and come up big with an electric run that kind of really got the entire team and stadium into it. So a lot of really good things, things that we can certainly improve upon, and certainly the competition will be, you know, ratcheted up. I thought New Mexico played hard. They're well coached. We certainly still, you know, our thoughts are with Coach Davey. It sounds like he's making a great recovery. I know he was disappointed that he couldn't make the trip here, but you know, he's certainly got a football team that's going to compete and play hard in the Mountain West for him. So, with that, I know you've already talked to the players. Let's see if I can try to stay on task with what they've said.
Brian, you mentioned sort of the pieces falling into place. You know what this offense can be, but I mean, how significant from a confidence perspective is it for the players to experience it in a game?
Well, I think that's part and parcel in terms of what I was saying. Braden Lindsey needed to make a play, right? He needed to make that big catch. I think Sebo needed to go in there and pick up a couple of blitzes and make a couple of plays and a couple of good runs. Javon McKinley needed to make a big play, which he made a couple of really big plays. He's been, you know, a guy that has been kind of lost in, you know, cyberspace, if you will, and he's now going to have to play a significant role. So all of these guys needed to make a play Ian Book needed to make a play. I think he needed to make that throw to Chase Claypool, and all those things needed to come together. We thought they would, and we saw them come together this afternoon.
Ian Book, I don't even watch the tape yet, but you just feel better about his performance today than you did a couple weeks ago?
Oh, absolutely.
And where did that maybe hit you the most?
Technically, he settled down, was in the pocket, got pressured, had to deliver the football under duress, setting his feet. Just all those things that we didn't see against Louisville. So, again, game 2. And again, I want to caution everybody that it's so different when you practice, for us, almost 6, 8, 7 weeks now where you've only played one game. You need to play at real speed. And so to get this game under our belts going into Georgia was really big for us. And to get Ian into a rhythm really helped today a lot.
Brian, 67% of Javon McKinley's catches this year for touchdowns. Just how great is it to have him be out there and obviously making plays? And, with that success rate, do you think about maybe throwing the ball a little bit more?
Yeah, I'm gonna need you on the sidelines to keep me involved. Listen, I don't know how to respond to that other than I'm a moron.
If it comes with a pay raise, I'm in.
And you're absolutely right. He's a physical presence. As you know, he got on the field in a first-team rotation. So we're starting to get it here and figure it out that he's not a number 2. He can play as a number 1. So we like his size. We like what he's done. Look, he would have been playing a long time ago if we had the young man playing at a consistent level. He is showing that. He is practicing well. He is doing the right things both on and off the field. You guys don't want to hear this, but all those traits are starting to show themselves, and he's preparing himself for a big year for us.
And then I guess, knowing what kind of Sean Crawford and all the injuries he's gone through, do you, when he gets an interception like that, just emotionally, like how do you feel when you
we
see
made
that?
note of it in the post-game talk about individual plays. It was great to see him. He was in and around the football again quite a bit today, as he usually is. He finds the football as well. Just to, think back on the lows that he's had to go through, and to see him today come up with a big play, it's kind of nice.
Brian, right here to your right.
Yeah, Tim.
How do you explain Kyle Hamilton's ability to be around the football?
It starts with really good vision, and he recognizes things for the first time really well. Route recognition is outstanding. Some have a good pattern read recognition, some don't. He knows that when 2 goes to the flat, 1's probably breaking back towards him, and he just has a natural sense and feel for route recognition. 2 go vertical, I'm going to stay on top of 2. It just, some guys have it, some guys struggle with it. He's got that a natural ability, and then length obviously helps quite a bit.
You had mentioned that there were some checks that maybe weren't made in your third and short in the last game.
Yeah.
How do you think Ian Book handled that this game?
It was better. I think we're still, there's still room improvement there. I'm not too concerned about some of the things that happened. We missed 1 or 2 of them. We'll go back and take a look at it. I'll have to probably pass on getting into too specifics because I think we were 1 for 10 total. But again, so many of them, there's other 10 guys in there that I have to kind of process, and then there's the play call, and so there's other things involved. I know there was one in particular where the ball should have been somewhere else, but other than that, it's hard for me to.
I did want to mention the 1 for 10 because you were also 5 for 5 on 4th down. I'm sure you don't quite look at that as a wash because you can't always go for it on 4th down depending upon where you are on the field. But how concerned are you with the 1 for 10?
Yeah, so some of it's set up for 4th down. So our analytics are Some of it might be getting some of it back on third down, to set up a fourth down play too. So there are some, again, we could hash this out for a while, but there are mitigating factors in that 1 for 10, and I'd have to go through each one of them.
Thank you.
Yep.
George here on the left. Coach, to follow up on Tim's question, the short third and short conversions still do seem to be a struggle. How do you prevent that going forward with a team against Georgia? Because it may not be as forgiving, come next week.
We see exactly what you see. So, obviously those are the things that we're going to have to continue to work on. We're certainly not a finished product by any means. So we know the things that have to, improve as a football team. I think everybody in the NFL and college football knows that their short yardage is got to be efficient. So, yeah, that'll be something that we'll spend time on over the next couple of days and look at the things that we need to do to be better in those areas.
Brian, are you playing Georgia at the right time because you had that gap between this game to improve, and I assume you gained some confidence today?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's ever, I don't know if you ever look at a right time or a wrong time. I think we needed this game to kind of, as I mentioned earlier, to find some of the pieces that are going to be needed to make explosive plays. You're not going to beat Georgia by just 3 yards here, 4 yards. You're going to have to make some explosive plays. So we needed to see that happen today. So having said that, we can't give up big plays like we did in the running game today, and we have to find explosive plays in our offense. So those two came together today against New Mexico. It doesn't mean they're coming again against Georgia, but we know a little bit more about our football team, which allows us to put together a plan of action as we go and tackle a very good opponent on the road.
And what went, it's going back a ways now, but what went into the decision to keep McKinley in school and give him another chance?
Boy, there was a lot to it. Advocacy from across campus. He had a really clean record with us. This was I don't want to say an aberration, but it was something that had never happened before, which earned him the opportunity to get a second chance.
Brian, you mentioned Kyron Williams and Braden Lenzy earlier. When you were talking about trying to be dynamic in your offense, do you feel like they earned your trust today that they could be bigger pieces going forward, or at least important pieces?
They earned what we asked them today to do, and that was, you have to be part of our offense moving forward. When we call your number today, you need to make a play, and they did. We didn't ask them to catch 10 balls today. We asked them to make a play for us so we can now get you involved in our offense, and each one of them did that. We asked Sibo Flemister to pick up a blitzer. He did. We asked him to run hard on the goal line, and he did. He picked up a penalty for a procedure penalty because he was given some instruction on a play, and he wasn't sure exactly what he was given, and so he was looking back, and all he said to me was, "I just want to earn your trust, and I'm trying to do the right thing." And I said, "You have our trust. Just go out and play." And so that's all these kids want to do well so bad that they ask us more about it than anybody else. So all we told them after the game was, look, you're doing great. It doesn't mean you have to do for 40 or 50 plays. Just make the play when we call, and I think we'll have them moving forward for those plays.
I can imagine you could put Avery Davis's pass and Fink's pass into the run pile.
Sure.
But in the big picture, you mentioned to us at the beginning of the season, running the ball and stopping the run were two big identity points for you. Where do you feel you are with those two things right now?
I think good. I mean, we got to have better. Look, stopping the run by and large, they were committed to running the football today. I think they had almost 50 carries. You can't beat us running it 50 times with just 2 big plays. We don't want to give up any big plays. Our top-down run support's got to be better. Our safety support's got to be better to it. Our fit by the backers has got to be better. We'll get that cleaned up. We're not getting pushed off the ball. We're not getting manhandled. None of that concerns me at all. From an offensive line standpoint, yeah, could we have been better today? Probably. But they weren't going to let us run the ball up inside. So we're going to move to some other things that we can do. We threw for almost 450 yards, and it's the nature of college football today. And you better be able to do both. If you can't run it because they don't want you to run it, you better throw it. If you can't, you're in trouble. I think we can do both.
Brian, regarding Avery Davis, he's obviously spent time on your offense in the past, but it's been a while. What is it about him that he was able to basically walk into that situation with very little work over the last several months and be productive today? And how big was his playbook? Or did we just see the short roll that you had for him and it worked?
It was bigger than what we featured today. We wanted to get him involved a little bit today, and we didn't want to show a whole lot today. So he's a smart kid, played high school football at a very good program, knows the game well, was able to retain most of our offense. But quite frankly, we wanted to be able to lean on Sebo a little bit more today, Kyron a little bit more today, and he was going to get some scripted touches more than having the entire offensive playbook at his disposal.
I've heard you've got something called the 24-hour rule. Will you take the full 24 to enjoy this, or does the opportunity and the challenge in front of you coerce you to pretty quickly start thinking about what's 7 days in front of you?
What's 24 hours take us till? 6 o'clock?
Ish.
No, we'll be in at 10 a.m. So whatever that is, the math on that, we'll get back in at 10 a.m. and get to work on Georgia. So we'll watch the film. I take that back. We'll watch the film at 10. We'll be done with it by 1 o'clock so I can answer questions on injuries and things like that from Eric. And then we'll move on to Georgia. Thank you.
And we welcome you back to Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com. Along with former Irish linebacker Corey Mays, I'm Darren Pritchett. Notre Dame hits the road. They go between the hedges to take on number 3 Georgia next week. The last time Notre Dame beat a top 5 team, this guy was playing linebacker for Notre Dame at the Big House as Notre Dame beat Michigan 17-10 back in 2005. So as you think about that game, let's move forward. The ingredients for success for Notre Dame at Georgia.
I think confidence. I think they have the confidence. They have the tools. They have the players. They have the speed. So just like in 2005, we were able to walk in there and silence 100,000 people. They can go down there next week and silence 100 million Notre Dame haters across the world and walk out with a victory.
Nothing better than that, is there?
Absolutely.
All right. For Corey Mays, I'm Darren Pritchett. The Fighting Irish beat New Mexico 66-14, and we thank you for joining us for Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com.